host. Okay, thank you. All right, welcome to the virtual advisor presentation. A lot of you have seen Orbund. We have been talking about the SIS as a hub. And we strongly believe the SIS as a hub, and our SIS sits at the center of the hub of your operations. One of such key operations is your admissions, which obviously leads into your lead management, lead generation, and how well do you convert your leads from there. And so as part of our ecosystem or partners we work with, we've been talking to Enrollment Resources, who are a great partner of us, and they have a great solution in helping you deal with a lot of your web leads. And a lot of the times, we're looking for that big magical stuff. And sometimes we've got very simple things that if we did, the proverb of little drops of water make the mighty ocean can make a lot of difference from there. And we see the virtual advisor as one of those key things that is worth every client of us looking at, trying it out and seeing, because it will help with now this current stage where we have enrollments are hard to come by, and you're all trying to find creative ways in trying to get admissions and your admissions numbers going from there. So without going on and talking a lot about it, I'll turn it over to Enrollment Resources folks. Shane, let you do a little bit of introduction about who Enrollment Resources is and what you guys bring to the table, and then we'll dive right into it and get into the demo. And then afterwards, I would like to have about 10-15 minutes of Q&A questions, and then let's put probably some contact information out there in the end on how folks can follow up with that and get it going from there. So Shane, over to you.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, we're so excited about this partnership with Orbund. We're just massive fans of their platform and excited to share with you what we do. So our company's been around since 2003. We've always been focused on the career education sector. I would call us an innovator in enrollment management in broad terms. And our cornerstone product is a product called Virtual Advisor that we're going to share with you today. So Virtual Advisor is basically a way to capture more leads off your website and help drive those leads down the admissions funnel. So the premise is that we can attract more of the high quality, kind of low hanging fruit that's existing in your business, and help bolster the admissions efforts by making those leads more enrollable. So we're going to share a bit about that. I do want to introduce Tash Ure. Tash is our VP of Partnerships. Tash is going to share just a very short couple of slides to create some context around what we do, and then our teammate Sterling Simpson, who's our Director of Sales, he's going to walk us through a short demo of our platform, how it works. We're going to try to keep this tight to about 40 minutes to allow some time for Q&A at the end, and we will invite you to follow up if it's interesting and if it's a thing that you think might help your school, and we can explore more detail. So Tash, take it away, buddy.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations on what you do. Just a quick snapshot of my background. I'm 30 plus years in the career school sector, and I'm normally on your side of the desk. And I used to be a client of Enrollment Resources. And one of the school groups I was with, we grew from 2,700 to 6,700 students in a 3-year time frame. And it was in the states of Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio, small market. And one of the greatest challenges in doing that is how can you grow like that without burning advertising, marketing dollars in the parking lot? So we're going to share things that are going to help prevent that from happening and actually help grow enrollment while at the same time lowering your average cost per start, which is not normal. So hopefully everybody is seeing my screen right now. And we're entitling this, You Deserve Better Than Just a Lead, Maximizing Your Conversion Rate When Unique Visitors First Hit Your Website. And so what's important is what we're talking about here is taking existing traffic and getting more out of that for you. So I'm going to talk just a couple of high-level definitions and just some perspectives. So the first thing is conversion rate optimization. And on the simplest level, that is the percentage of your visitors who actually fill out information so that you're able to pursue them as a customer. And some other concepts are increasing your inquiries by testing alternate versions, layouts, pages, elements. And in doing all of this, schools can generate more leads without actually buying more media. So you can grow revenues, and that's going to make more sense as we move through this. All right, so the first thing's cost per start. And I apologize in advance if this is really elementary, but you know, I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. So cost per start is king. And simply, what are your advertising expenses? What are your admissions expenses? And if you want to do this annually, great. Over the course of a year, what are they? And then divide them into the number of your starts. That's your cost per start. You can break that up. You can unbundle it. You can remove the manpower and simply take your marketing spend and divide it into the number of your starts. And typically, the portion of your cost per start that's allocated to advertising increases as you're maximizing your enrollment. You're squeezing everything you can out of particular marketing channels. So an incremental start, you typically have to pay a premium. Cool thing about virtual enrollments is we have some clients that experience an 80% reduction in their cost per start with their virtual advisor spend. We had one client that, you know, he has a school group and he was $1,250 is his average cost per start. But with what he was investing in virtual advisor, it was $260. That is a significant difference. And how many of you are over budgets and you have to spend and you see that pile of cash there burning? Sometimes that's what it feels like when you're generating some of these leads. So I'm a big proponent of taking your least converting dollar spend and reinvesting it to grow your enrollment. All right, here are some pertinent truisms. Okay, the first one is a lead is a life. So what's the climate like on your campus? Do admissions and marketing play well together? Is it even the same person sometimes? Is there finger pointing? Are there bad leads? Are there lazy admissions reps? The bottom line is a lead is a life. It's a human being. You know, so whether it's some lead that's converting at, 1% and, and you're in competition with a ton of other schools, or whether it's a lead that you have exclusivity over and it's converting at a very high rate, those are still lives. Next truism is that the greater the engagement and the interaction with your website, the greater the conversion. So the more physical behavior and time in that your prospective students are spending on your website, then typically the higher the conversion. Next pertinent truism, the more you know, the more you enroll. So typically, what are we receiving when we get a lead? For the most part, we get their name, we get their phone number, their email, maybe the year they graduated, program of interest. Those are typical. But what about, are they working? Aren't they working? What are their hours? Do they have support at home? Do they have daycare issues? What about some of the information that you normally only uncover once you've made the live contact? So usually you're not able to get to this information until you're already in the admissions process. Some of what you're going to see, if we've taken some of what happens in the sales portion, the admissions portion, and we've moved it upstream into the marketing portion of what you're doing. And there's many benefits to that, including arming your team with a lot of information that helps them better engage so that you can get lift on things like your appointment setting, your show up rates, things of that nature. Okay, last pertinent truism I really want to drive home is that facts trump feeling facts. All right, so I once had a mentor of mine. He was a pilot, and he took me flying, and he let me fly the plane. It was so cool, and it was cold out, and I had this hooded sweatshirt on, and he had me pull my sweatshirt up over my head and fly the plane. And I was doing an incredible job flying the plane until I pulled my shirt down. And I had us in the very early stages of this negative left death spiral, but I didn't know it. And what that really drove home for me is the value of dashboards and data, and that facts trump feeling facts. So do you really know your outcomes and what's happening? One of the beautiful things about what we're going to share with you is it's all based on facts. It's all based on science. It's all based on results and performance. It is not what we think might happen. It's all based on what actually is happening. And again, that will make more sense as we move through it. So what I'm going to do right now is turn this over to my teammate Sterling, and he's going to help bring some of this stuff to life and show you our product.
Thanks, Ash.
All right.
So what I'm going to do is actually walk you through how someone engages with it, why they engage with it. So you get an understanding of what we're talking about with the conversion rate optimization. And then we'll go through one of our demo pathways. So you can see the experience the student has, but more importantly, you can see the information that we collect and how we support the admissions team. There's one thing that I want to repeat that Tash mentioned earlier, was that it's about admissions and marketing working together. And this is a great opportunity where marketing can help admissions, because when the leads, or we call them registrants, which are higher quality than normal lead, come in, admissions has a head start with it. So I'll start sharing my screen. First thing I'm going to do is show you one of our clients' websites and just how people find and engage with the virtual advisor first, and then we'll get into the actual quiz. So this is a school that's using the virtual advisor, and the main thing that you're going to see here is the career readiness quiz. So looking at this website, we have identified 3 stages of the bind process, which most people are in. And the 3 stages are early, middle, and late. So early in the bind process are people who are looking for just a basic information. They're starting their process. They want to get what we have down here, the most frequently asked questions, are most of what they want. This represents about 50% of traffic, but ends up being about 80% of leads. And the reason for that is that the other stages of the buying process are so underserviced that this one looks like it's a huger stage than it is, but it's only because these people are becoming leads at higher rates. So most schools do an okay job at this, usually having a low commitment call to action. So ours is the get the details. Early in the buying process, I just need to know a few basic things. I'm not deep yet. And so that gets most people there. I want to skip over to the later stage. The later stage of the buying process are people who are ready to take a step forward, ready to book a tour, ready to apply. These people tend to only be a small percentage of the traffic actually coming, because they've already done the research. They know they're ready to move forward. So they're really looking for a call to action similar to like apply online or book a tour, and they generally are able to find those. And again, most websites do a fine job of that. They usually have a book a tour, apply online somewhere. And these people, because they're motivated and deep in the buying process, are able to find that. So that is not usually a problem. The stage of the buying process that almost everyone universally neglects is the middle stage. And those are people who are beyond the basic question. They've done research, they know your school, they know your competitors, but they aren't ready to take that big step forward. And the reason is that they have an internal intrinsic question. Is this right for me? Am I right for it? Is your type of learning right for me? Is your type of school right for me? It's a question that can't be answered from your website. These people represent about 30% of your website traffic on average school, but end up being 10% of leads. And the reason is that these people are so underserviced that they either leave your website and disappear, or they take a lesser commitment call to action and they fill a contact form, which is really a disservice because this person's ready and wants to show you they're in a deeper stage of the buying process, but they can't. So they end up filling out the contact form and you treat them like their first point of contact or first stage of the buying process when they actually are deeper. So when people don't have a call to action speak that middle stage, they get less overall leads, and some of those leads will end up being lower quality. So if you see on this website here in the top right corner is career training right for you. This school offers tons of programs. If you have specific programs, you could be more specific in here, but that is what's capturing that middle stage. And we also put in multiple places on the website, like in the body down here, and where it actually does the best is on program pages. On program pages, we could be more specific. We could talk about the specific program and then take them in. So an average school using the career readiness quiz sees a 2.22 basis point improvement in conversion rate from their website. And what that means is it's 22 additional registrants for every 1,000 visitors. And so the average school in the industry is roughly around 5% conversion, which would be 5 registrants per 100 visitors. So the average school sees that 2.2 jump. So go to 7.2 is what we see. And so that is why people engage with the virtual advisor and why it increases the lead flow the way it does, just by speaking to those people who are grossly underserviced. So the next step is I'll walk you through why they are higher quality leads and how it really helps admissions and how this is how marketing sets up admissions for success. So I'm going to take you through just our demo version, like I mentioned. And so I'm actually going to put in my real information in here. And I still have a Hotmail account.
May I make a quick comment? Sterling, can I make a quick comment while you're doing that? And I do want to make a couple of quick points here that what is the layout of your site? A lot of folks, the prettiest website does not mean it's the most effective website. What's the language you're using? What's the colors you're using? Where are things on particular pages? There are so many things that drive behavior and that better engage a prospect. And what you're seeing us present here is based on lots and lots of outcome, lots and lots of A/B testing. And we're seeing which one won. Did this color do better than that color? Did this word do better than that word? Did placing it here do better than placing it over there? And these things are really subtle, but they make a difference. Okay, back to you, Sterling.
Excellent. Yeah, and that is a great point because like I could go on for an hour just on CRO, and we in the future we could probably do that. If you're interested, I'll talk to you about that. But yeah, another thing to mention is the virtual advisor or career readiness quiz does better the poorer the website is currently optimized. So sometimes it could do way higher than a 2.2 number because there's more low-hanging fruit. And so that's a really interesting part of it too, is the dynamic of how the website is set up when you implement. We often can see much greater numbers because there just aren't the opportunities. I had one client who they didn't even have any way to contact them that wasn't a commitment. So when we put the career readiness on their website, their lead flow just blew up 8-fold because they were so underservicing the early stages of the buying process. And what happened was all the basic questions that people had went to the career readiness quiz because it was the lowest commitment on their website because all they had were booking a tour. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, the performance, the 2.2 number is an average, but we see there's times when under optimized websites have opportunities to go way beyond that. So I just filled this out. I'm going to take the quiz as if I was a potential student. And so what I want to show you over here is the back-end user interface of the virtual advisor. And this is me currently taking it in real time. So as I fill this out, it's going to populate with all my answers so a rep could watch me do this in real time. The main reason for this is for speed to contact, because when we finish this, we train your reps on how to leverage the information we collect. So you have a greater chance of having a more congruent first point of contact. But it takes a minute or two. And so if you're able to watch some of this in real time, you'll get that speed to contact because you can consume the information quite quickly. Speed to contact is important because there was a recent study where they interviewed people who inquired multiple schools. And 70% of people who inquired multiple schools said the first school that called them enrolled them. And so that's one reason speed to contact is important. The other one is what we're talking about now, everything about speed to contact with regards to contact rates. If you call within the first minute of a lead coming in, you have a 700% higher chance of contacting them than if you waited. So, and then the half-life of an internet lead, there's a lot of studies that are looking at about 27 minutes. So there's a lot of more speed to contact reasons, more reasons to have great speed to contact now than ever. So what I want to show you here though, is if I quit right now, if I just decide I didn't want to do anymore, you still got my name, email, phone number. It actually pulled a profile picture in from social media. This is based on if the settings are set to allow that. I find 1 in 10 people allow that. And then we even pulled in a social media profile based off my email address. We actually have an API into over 20 different social media websites. We could pull those accounts in. You could click on them and just load the accounts up and learn more about that student. It's a great way to communicate with them. If you aren't able to make contact over the phone or email, message them through social platforms. It's just more information to help the admission rep. So as I continue through this, we collect questions about motivations, what research they've done for obvious reasons to help the rep know where to start the call, current situation. And this one here is probably one of my favorite ones because we learn the pain points, which again, we train the reps on how to address pain points and use that to leverage and move someone forward in the process. We inquire about the competition and we inquire about urgency. And so as we continue through this, we're collecting goals. I train the reps on how to use goals when I drop it on voicemails and on emails. I use goals there because you can remind them of the reason they took the quiz. And then in here, we have just a truncated Myers-Briggs or a DISC test. And I'm just randomly doing this because I'm not nearly that friendly of a person. So as I go through this, one thing I want to show you over here, we're still collecting all this information step by step. And here came up with social style, amiable, or amiable, however you want to pronounce that. So that's great. That's awesome information for the student on the report. It's very engaging and they love it, learning about their social style. And I'll show you at the end of the report how it explains that and gives them more information. But one thing that we do is we have this client knowledge base full of tons of resources. I'm not going to go over them all because again, it would be another hour presentation. But within here, we have these documents on how to sell based off of social style. So now that you've identified someone's personality, this is to help you with a more congruent first point of contact and with written communication. We have a quick little thing that I recommend all admission reps print off and have on their desk, which is do's and don'ts when you're on a call with someone. So if you have to quickly call someone for speed to contact, you see their personality style, then you know what to do on that first point of contact. But more importantly, we have more details into each personality and how you sell to them. I find it is very important with written communication because everyone consumes information so differently. And if you know the person's personality, you could have your follow-up emails and your communication hit all the right marks and give them the information the way they need it. So this is, again, a lot of information here to go over, but I just wanted to show you that as a part of this, as someone goes through this, we're collecting this information so that that first point of contact can be the best possible first point of contact. With all the information and the training we provide, you're able to reach out to this person and meet their needs. And if you don't make contact, you can leave very high quality voicemails and emails that could speak to their goals, their needs, and get them to re-engage with you.
Erwin, can I interject?
Yeah.
May I interject? So I want to just use a real life example. Let's assume I'm a prospective student. It's late at night, near midnight. I'm online and now I'm on your website. I'm relaxed. My guard is down. I'm hungry for information. I'm in the exploration stage and I'm starting to interact with your website and provide information and get information, and I'm engaging. A lot of times, even if you get a student live, they're not willing to go there. Their guard isn't down, their guard's up, they want to get off the call. So getting some of this information upstream, you're able to use it to better engage once you do make the contact with those individuals. And those individuals are more likely to share that information. I'm old school. I'm like, wait a minute, what are we moving admissions process into the marketing funnel? That was my limiting belief. But in fact, it was a limiting belief, because by doing that, you increase lead flow and you increase engagement and you increase your admissions reps' ability to connect with prospective students. Okay, go ahead, Strom.
Excellent. So yeah, we're on the home stretch now. So this part here is really just conveying your features and benefits, and they learn about them, which is great. They might not know you offer hands-on training and stuff like that, but more importantly to the rep, we're learning what to talk about and what not to talk about on the call. So the features they don't care about, we don't mention. And this is, I call this the red flag step. Whatever you need to soft qualify for. We don't want to be a hard qualification, but things that would cause red flags. So in admissions, you could address them. So do you have your high school diploma? When did you graduate? If you do not, do you have your GED, or are you still in high school? Do you have transportation? Do you have dependents at home? If so, do you have childcare support? If not, we need to address that. And have you attended post-secondary before? We want to know about this for multiple reasons. We want to know about financial aid, but also if they complete it or not, that opens up completely different questions. And some schools have unique things they want to ask about: driver's license, criminal records, whatever you need to know. This is that step. And this is the final step, and we let people know this. And this is actually one of the split tests we did. We're talking earlier about how conversion optimization is all about split testing. About 4 years ago, and Scott was there, and yeah, I think Shane was there too. We were talking about improving this step, and we're at the CQ conference in Florida, and we had a 78% completion rate around that time. And so we made this split test, added last step, one more click, that number went up, and now it's currently 83%. So on average, we have 83% of people complete this quiz. And that was from incremental split testing. We've had over 2 million people take it at one of our schools, which gave us that massive sample size of data, which allowed us to split test it to the degree that we've been able to get this massive completion rate. So this final step, we want to know who the supporters are, because we want to invite them along to any interviews if we can, because they're probably part of their decision-making committee. We ask who's not supportive, rarely answered, but if it is, it can be the most powerful question on the quiz, because it could be the biggest barrier. And then we ask them, does anything prevent you from moving forward? If there is, great, let's get that right away. So I get to the end of my report, and I scored 90%. I scored so well, it congratulated me. I get a personalized tour of the school because I qualify for this. And as you scroll down, this is the actual report that's provided. It has great information. It doesn't just regurgitate the answers. It draws conclusions based off the answers and gives actual summaries. Here's one of the things I love is it links off to OccupationNet online. Great information about the career they selected, and OccupationNet's an awesome resource. Gives outcomes for years and salaries and great stuff. So this is probably the most engaging part. It goes, oh, I'm amiable, and they read all about that because this is the visual component, and it's, to me, it's the coolest part because you're learning something really intrinsic about yourself. And so when we complete this report, we prompt them to book a tour. Like I said earlier, 83% of people get here. And this is another split test we did. It used to just say, hey, book a tour. And at that point, 45% of people would book a tour, which is awesome because the call to action they click on is to get a report. So everyone who does something above this is a bonus, because really the main call to action you see is get your career readiness report. So we're happy that they got here. So now that someone's gone here and we had 45% of people book a tour, we want to test and see if we get that number higher. So we actually changed the verbiage just to congratulate them, and nothing else changed. It's still personalized tour. Just congratulations, you qualify for it, instead of take your next step for your tour. And that number from 45 went up to 60%. So now on average, 60% of people who begin the pathway end up booking an appointment or next step with the school. And if you do the math, I'll do it quickly for you. 83 times 60 is 49.8. So roughly 50% of people who start the pathway end up booking an appointment. So this is what it looks like. What we do is we give them the illusion of customization, which actually increases the show rate of these appointments. Because this person thought they got something special, they get to pick and choose what they want to do on their own appointment. But what we do is we put the checkboxes as everything you do on your normal appointments or consultations or tours. And that way they're picking and choosing, but it's already everything they do. So that's the illusion of customization. But because they feel like they got this customized experience, they got something really unique, they have more excitement about it. So they have a higher show rate. And then at the end of the day, we see a much higher enrollment rate. So this person is able to identify when they want to come in. And this, we could customize around your needs, and then pick a date. And I book my tour or info session. Over here, you see I completed. I have this great little, at the summary at the end, I already know they booked a tour. So as an admission rep, all I have to do is pick up the phone and confirm this person's tour. And in confirming the tour, if you guys do virtual, you try in real time to get them to just jump on right now. But if not, you book that tour and be happy that they have this appointment scheduled for the 6th. And so at the end of this, there's actually 3. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I want to come back to the example I was using. Okay. So again, it's almost midnight. I'm at home. I'm on my computer. Look at all the information I've just received. I've received a ton of useful information about career pathing. I've received a ton of excellent information about myself and how I'm wired. All right. And I've actually got an ability to set a next step if that's what I'm choosing to do. And because I'm more informed and I'm more engaged, I'm much more likely to do those things. Let me contrast that to when you don't have a process like this in place. Now it's 11 at night, midnight. Maybe I only can complete a little lead form. And then maybe the next day, someone's lucky enough to time it and get a hold of me, but maybe not because I'm doing this late at night, and maybe it takes 3, 4, or 5 days before we're finally able to engage with someone to even start a process like this. So you're giving somebody useful information. They're giving you useful information. You're compressing the window, the time frame, so you're able to move faster on things. It's less likely that a competitive school is going to be able to beat you in the punch, like Sterling was saying, first to contact, first to contract. And look at all of this great information you have to open your conversation with your prospective student. All right, I'll shut up again.
Excellent. Yeah, so like he said, it's basically just setting you up for success. Now, once we get to here, there's really 3 outcomes. It's 49.8. I'll round it up. I'm an analytical personality, so I hate rounding, but I'll do it for this. So 50% of people book a tour. 33% complete it and get a high quality report, which you have a great reason to reach out to them. You want to review their career readiness report with them. And because they spent all this time, and the average person spends anywhere between like 5 and 10 minutes doing this, they've already invested this time, so they're more open to talking to you. And then there is the 17% of people who do not complete. So with the 83% completion rate, 17% drop off early. That 17%, you have a great reason to call them, because why didn't you complete? Maybe this wasn't right for you, and let's take it another direction. Our data shows that people who don't complete are still more likely to enroll than a normal internet lead. And the reason is they had intent. Even if they didn't follow through, they had that same intent. So even if they don't complete, these people are generally going to be higher quality than people who come through a contact form. So I'd reach out to them with a specific premise of, hey, that wasn't right for you. Can I help you? What was you really needed? And you could get them into your funnel through that. And we actually have scripting for each. We could provide. Not everyone loves scripting, so if they're not, we could provide workflows. But at the end of the day, we want to set you up and your admissions team so that you have the best chance of success by providing the training, the scripting, and the whole process that you need. Pretty much, you just have to sit back and let the leads come in and follow through with that. So Shane, Tash, Scott, you guys got anything you want to add?
Well, yeah, a couple things. So you're all blessed to have Orbund as your SIS, and a really great thing about this partnership is how we integrate with one another, and how this information gets into your system, and so that your team can access this information and they can access it quickly. So, we interface really nicely, and, however you have your lead distribution set up, you can take advantage of so much more useful information, and Orbund and enrollment resources is a very seamless integration there.
I actually, I want to add one thing I forgot to show you. It's a feature that is coming down the line, and I don't think I've shown it to anyone else. I'm going to show it to you guys first. You might be the first seeing it. I'm not sure. But we have this new feature in the summaries where it's going to actually prompt the reps on how to. So on top of the training we provide, and if you want scripting, we'll provide that. But it actually has these prompts. So this person, this is just a demo one I did a while ago. Campus analytical. So it tells you, hey, this person's analytical. Here's some common things. Click here to directly link to this so I can learn more about analytical. But then as it goes through, it's identifying the red flags for you as an admission rep. So if you don't have time to read it all and you just got called them quickly, you can look at this and look at the red flags, look at the green. It tells you, look, talk about this. It tells you what to do. So it's more of a workflow, but it helps walk you through. It tells you, hey, talk about this, ask this question. And so again, people who don't like scripts, this might be a good fit for them. So we're currently working on this. I'm hoping within the next few weeks it'll be out, but I think it's going to be huge because it keeps it all in one place for you. So someone can just pull up quickly and they see the main points to cover. They see if there's any red flags, it will pull those out for you. And if it finds any anomalies, it'll pull that out for you and tell you and give you premises and give you questions to ask. So that is coming down. Hopefully, like I said, this spring it'll be done.
And also, Sterling, if I may just take like 30 seconds or so, some of the ancillary benefits of it, true, it's a marketing, it's admissions tool, but I know schools, and when I train them, their academics department can download the report. In fact, every single enrolled student or start should have that report printed out in their file. It's a great retention tool also when academics or the teacher or director of education talks to a student that's at risk of dropping out. You can go back, see the emotions, what led that student into the school. I want to give my kids a better life. I want to own my own home. I want a new car or whatever. And you can use their answers to possibly help them stay in school as well from a retention standpoint, as well. And I know schools that do that. And if you can save one student a month, one student every other month, depending on the size of your school, that's a tremendous amount of revenue that's saved as well. So
That's a great point, Scott.
Yeah.
How many of you have killer admissions advisors out there? And, a lot of them would know, and just because this is part of their muscle fiber, they would be asking a lot of this. But on the flip side, how many of you have admissions advisors that maybe they're not as mature, sophisticated, or skilled? You can turn a C player into an A player simply by using some of the tools that we have here. So go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you, Tash. I just wanted to remind Sterling of when you're done, Sterling, you may want to go through the autoresponders also that are sent out at different points of when the prospective student is filling it out. So
yeah, that's the demo ones don't have all the autoresponders set up because they're just demos. So I actually was going through my email because I've done them before and pulled up autoresponders that come through. So I was in the middle of doing that. So yeah, I'll do it. I'll pull that up in 1 sec.
Great. Alex, we've budgeted we budgeted an hour for this presentation. Is that right?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So yeah, Sterling, I think another 5 minutes on just maybe some of the other features we haven't touched on. I'll just do a brief summary and then we could open up to a Q&A if that works. And we can share the terrific offer that our friends at Orbund have twisted our arms and beaten us up on your behalf to give you a very special Friends of Orbund opportunity that we have not offered to anyone else. So we'll share that in a minute.
All right, excellent. And I'm going to bring up my own personal email. So I'm going to get you all to sign an NDA here to make sure that you don't bring up any information. But so here's, I did this yesterday with a client of ours. So here's the first email that goes out, and we could personalize these. But this school calls it a personalized consultation. So thank you for booking your personalized consultation. So it's basically a great autoresponder. You know, explains what will happen, gives them secondary call to action. It tells them what will, like what's going on. So not autoresponder, a confirmation. Tells them, you know, you've booked this. And so this is when someone books the appointment, it goes out. You have full control over customizing this within the different levels of service. And then there was this one here, which is when I completed it, I got their career readiness report. So this is actually a live one. This is the email that would go out to any student. And this is the report I got. And so I'll just do it here. So I scored 97. And so everything that would be in there with my personality assessment and all that. So not only does it send out autoresponders based off what you do, but will based off what you don't do. So there's 4 possible outcomes. And I'll just pull this up because I could actually go into the back end. It doesn't mean much to you guys, but in the back end here, the notifications, there's 4 possible outcomes. So someone who quits early and doesn't complete it, they get the nurture email saying, hey, you dropped out early. You could click back in and jump right back in. Then when you complete it and get your report, you get the report sent to you. Then if you don't book a tour, but you got the report, you get the nurture to book a tour saying, hey, you didn't book a tour, log back in and book a tour. I've actually seen a lot of those recently, people coming back in and booking that tour. It's more than it used to be. It must be from our split testing on the copy there because it's starting to happen more and more. But if someone does go through all the way and book the tour, then they get the confirmation. So what you see in there is you see these different workflows working. So sometimes I've actually seen one where someone didn't complete it. They got the nurture email, completed it, got the report, dropped off early, got the nurture for a tour, came back in and then booked the tour. Like that could all happen based off of the workflow. So no matter what they do, they're going to get communication about starting the quiz and how far they went, which is going to prompt them for next steps. Now, within the virtual advisor, you can have customizations over that. You could you could put in very specific stuff. You could have narratives in there. We have some schools who like put extra links in there to push urgency. So there's a lot that can be done within that, and even customizing the email by personality or something like that, which is further on customizations we can do. So within there, the whole idea is that the person always gets a good autoresponder. It speaks to where they are and prompts them for the next steps. And on top of this, we also can email to the school, but for you guys, it won't be as an issue because we'll be able to go straight into Orbund, which is going to be perfect. So yeah,
Terrific, Sterling. Yeah. I think in the interest of time, in the interest of time, we should wrap it up, and we can sort of open it up to questions. So if you want to put in the chat or raise your hand, please do so. There's one point I want to make that's sort of a philosophical point in all this. And what we observed over COVID, right, during that period of COVID, it was a tremendous rise in the amount of leads that were being generated by schools. It was sort of a surprising outcome to the whole thing. So, but between, what was it, March 2020 and about August, September 2021, lead flow on average just about doubled for most schools. Like that's what we saw in our work. It was kind of a surprising outcome, but has been peaking. And so what we view that as is there was a tremendous disruption in the market, right? And so during a time of disruption, people kind of go back to things that can help them weather that. So if you worked in hospitality, probably you started thinking, oh, maybe this isn't a great career for me. And that triggered people having interest in career education. We have peaked on lead flow though, and it's starting to dribble down. And so I know the leverage we enjoyed during this crisis is starting to level out. And so as a result, for schools to continue their levels of prosperity, it becomes about execution, taking advantage of all the opportunities that exist for them. We view our product as really a little data. You know, it's how we think of our company. Big data is about monitoring how people behave and trying to guess what they're going to do next. We're little data. We're just trying to create a bit more intimacy between the prospect and our schools to foster a better connection with the prospects, to create that deeper connection, which will result in more enrollments. That's really what our product's trying to do. there are other tools in our toolkit. I don't want to overload you with information, but the time and time again, when we've looked at schools, and as Tasha talked about at the beginning, sort of feeling facts versus facts, the leverage for most schools are in two areas, right? Just bottom line, pulling more of the traffic you're getting off your website, and doing a slightly better job of converting the leads you're getting into enrollments on the admissions end. That's what our product's designed to help with. That's it. So Tash, I think you had a slide that had some contact information, some requests, and the offer we're making to you. And if there are any questions, we're happy to answer them now. Otherwise, we'll wrap up early. So
Yeah,
Tash,
so-
can you just walk us through
Sorry,
this?
Shane, I just wanted to ask a couple of quick questions and try and open up the floor and encourage folks to ask some more questions from them. It looks great, very impressive. I've seen this a few times, and I have seen clients that are using the solution and have seen the difference that it has made from there. As I said earlier on, a lot of the times we take for granted the leads that come onto the website. We just think, oh, just fill in an inquiry form and we'll follow it up from there. And scenario Tash just gave earlier, it's midnight, person is filling in the information, and then being able to get something more out of it from you, from your system, makes you more valuable to them as well. And I know, Sterling, you talked about being able to script certain pieces from there and etc. I just want you to give me an idea about how much you can personalize it. If I were to be a school and I'm focused in a very specific set of programs from there, will those things like recommendation on what program best fits me, would that be based on my programs or just the career programs available in the career sector in general?
I believe it'd just be based off of what were available there, because it would be using the logic for what was built. But Shane, you might be able to answer that, because
yeah, I can speak to this one. We philosophically, we've avoided program selection as an intent in the quiz. And the reason we did that is for most career school prospects, the barrier to enrollment isn't so much they're trying to figure out what program to take. It's much more likely to be an emotional barrier to school, right? They've got reticence around school, or maybe poor experience in past around school. So we focused more on trying to, encourage them that school can be a good experience for them, and to draw out the more basic motivation type of questions. Like most career school prospects haven't really learned goal setting, as an example, right? They're not really sure what they want. So if we can help them galvanize what they do want and how that's the driver for their behavior, that's more beneficial to them. And we also felt that program selection is really the domain of an admissions person, and it can't be done by a series of questions in a legitimate way.
Okay, and I think there's some conversation going on right now. Dolly asked, can you show what information you transferred to the Orbund system?
And we have another question from Lisa Ashley. Can we pick and choose what features we want to use?
Yeah, so to answer the second question, yeah, the whole system's customizable, of course. So we want to build a tool that is congruent with the brand and the processes of the school. So up at all stages, whether it's the questions we ask, how it integrates in your system, how it flows with whatever your admissions process is. To answer the first question, I don't know if we can do that in this demo. I would love to show what transfers to Orbund. I don't know if we're organized right now to show that. We have our technical team has worked with the Orbund technical team to create a pretty tight integration. I can say that. I'm sorry we didn't think that through enough for this presentation, but we could follow up on that.
Yeah, because we do have a number of Orbund clients, and I was hoping one of them was going to be here today because she was on the list, and I was going to ask her actually if it'd be cool to show stuff. So it's too bad she didn't make it. But yeah, we work with a bunch of Orbund. It should be no problem. The way that it works is you could integrate whatever field from the quiz into your Orbund install, but you have to create those fields, right? So generally what happens is the main information you already have will get passed. And if you want a few special things, you could create an extra field in your install. But most of the information or all the information is also passed along as a PDF attachment, and a link gets sent along too. So someone just clicks that link and it loads it up in the virtual advisor. So now sometimes people might send a few extra things customized over, but most people just have all the contact information go in, and then all the extra information they could collect from either the PDF or the link directly into the system.
Mm-hmm.
So this will probably help answer, sorry, Tosh, this will probably help answer some of the question. Shane, if you want to elaborate on what Orbund has negotiated with you on behalf of the clients, because based on that package, they may be able to see information with respect to their environment.
Yes, so our the offer we have that we can make to you today that has been negotiated on your behalf is to give you a free 60-day pilot project. And so what we would do is treat you as if you're an actual client and you're paying us, go implement this system in your school, on your website, included the training, work through all the logistics of how it would fit within your current workflow, make sure that it's set up in Orbund in a meaningful way that supports your admissions teams, and run it for 2 months. And at the end of that, you know, the fact is either that this thing has increased lead flow, there's been enrollments and actual revenue generated, and it becomes a machine that's paid for itself, like well paid for itself, or it hasn't. And if it hasn't, then gosh, thank you for the opportunity, and we appreciate it. Generally, pilots convert about 9 out of 10. So 90% chance it will help you and make a meaningful revenue impact on your school. That's
So,
the
so
offer.
Shane, just to recap on that, that means that I can get 60 days at a school. I can get 60 days where I'm getting free leads,
Yes,
before I make any commitment on that.
that's correct.
Wow.
I know you're a tough negotiator, Alex. Well, our philosophically, our view, and we're happy to do it. Philosophically, our view is we are in the business of creating prosperity for schools. That's what our mission is. And if we're failing for some reason, if we can't deliver on that promise, then we shouldn't be paid. That's right. Our goal is to help you be prosperous. And the best way to do that is just to try. And really,
I don't like the results, but I'm already a paying customer. And for one particular month, I don't like my outcomes. Then
oh my gosh, yes, we have our happiness guarantee. That's a good point, Tash. So here's the happiness guarantee. If for any reason you don't feel like you receive sufficient value in a given month, right, you can adjust the invoice to whatever you want. That's it. Now, I think that's happened less than a handful of times in the 18 years we've been in business, but it happens occasionally. And our belief is that if there is not the performance that is expected, or I don't know, there's some screw up or something, these things happen occasionally, then it's much better to preserve the relationship than it is to fight over pennies, right? So that's just our philosophy in our company is we seek to be legitimate partners and try to be as easy as possible to work with.
So
plus we're guests with our friends Orbund, and it's important that we're good guests.
I like that. I like that.
Yes.
Now, how long does a typical implementation last? So I commit to this. Let's say I call Tash tomorrow. I say, okay, Tash, let's get it going.
So
how
our
long-
target is to get it implemented within about 3 weeks. So that our target's 20 days. We can often get it faster if we can get cooperation on the client end and there's some urgency around doing it. We don't need a lot of involvement from the client end other than to answer some basic questions in an intake. And then it's a question of whether we implement it on your website or you do. So we have a whole technical team here. We do offer some other marketing services. So we do have a whole marketing team that does this stuff all day. We're happy to do the work or happy to have you do the work. So about
just
20 days.
Yeah, 20 days. So let's just say, give or take, within a month, I'll be up and running, and I've got a couple more months of free
Yes.
trial before I get going. So let's say after the couple of months, I'm really happy, things are great. Typically, where do I start? What's my commitment on a monthly subscription? Or how?
So yeah, there's a few subscription options. It starts at about $950 a month, depending on what package makes the most sense. The contracts are month to month, so there's no, it's really a month to month service. And again, we just have found it's better, that we continue to earn our money. In practice, most clients stay with us, I don't know, for infinity. I haven't been able to calculate it because the churn's so low, but it's a low compared to the cost of advertising. This is a pennies on the dollar kind of proposition.
Yes.
What we're really trying to do is steal a tiny little budget, a bit of budget from Google or from whatever your poor performing advertising is. And let's just take a bit of the money that would go to them, deliver much more value and a much better cost per lead and a cost per start, and help the schools take full advantage of the traffic and the interest they're already generating. We're kind of like the candies in the chocolate bars at the checkout in the grocery store, right? That's the kind of premise of this thing. It's the opportunities that already exist.
Well, and I think that these leads will quickly become for advertising leads. These will become your favorite advertised lead because of how high they convert and how much information your admissions team already has. So, maybe a walk-in, maybe like a killer, referral coming in the door. Maybe those are a couple that might convert a little bit higher, but outside of that, it's going to be pretty tough to out convert what we're doing here. And, we're eliminating the risk. We're taking all the financial risk. It's very non-disruptive. So typically new initiatives can really disrupt your operation. This is very non-disruptive, very easy to implement. And in some cases, we have clients that are generating revenue. They're getting top line revenue before they even have bottom line expense. So really,
well, that's the goal. That's really our goal, is to make this pay for itself 20-fold. That's the ROI we're trying to get for you.
And this is going to sound bold, and I apologize in advance, but we know the answers. We know it works, and it's all outcome based. So even the pricing is going to be based on the results, and so it only works if you're pleased with it, and we only move forward if you have pleasing results, and we know it delivers pleasing results 90% of the time.
And to state the obvious, the pilot, the free trial doesn't start until it's all live on your website, and not when we get word, yes, I'd like to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good point.
I get that question.
Trying to stay within the time limits because we appreciate what enrollment resources are offering and the solution. As I said, I've seen there's a few of our clients' website and they believe in it. They live by it. And so it's from there that we at Orbund felt we needed to do something and needed to do something to get the word out from there. So thank you, Enrollment Resources, for being such a cooperative partner. We look forward on building on this, having a lot more of these sessions to get the word out to more of our user base and get them to all benefit from that, from there. Those that took time to come, thank you for taking time to come. As usual, we know your time is always valuable. And we encourage you to really look at this. You've got nothing to lose. You've got 60 days, try it and see if you truly get your 30% increase in web leads from there. There's nothing, there's no financial commitment, there's nothing, just only thing is just go in wholeheartedly, fully committed and give it a trial from there. And on top of that, at the end of it, they're giving you the money guaranteed situation. So afterwards, if things are coming in but not as you expected, you can sit down and work it out with them as well from there, which in my opinion is a win-win-win situation as well. So what to wrap it up, thank you all. We'll make the recording available to the rest of our user base, and we will publish the next date and time. We'll have this again and then try and get some more folks looking at it. So thank you.
Great. Alex, I want to compliment you. And when I was on the buying side of the desk, I would have loved for my SIS provider to help me with growing my enrollments, not just through their product, but through their relationships. And that you are taking the lead on this is super cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, terrific. Alex, thank you so much for having
Thank
us. We
you,
greatly
Alex.
appreciate it.
Thank you all.